Hey all, welcome to the craziest OPAR update yet, particularly in the 154 category, so let's hop to it. So, as always, here are the classes that have changes in them, and then we have a few people that are now rendered inactive until we see them pull in an event once again. 154 righty, here we go. A sequence of events took place here, so bear with me here. Hang on tight. At a super match for rankings, David Lee pulls off the stunning upset 3-0 over Robbie Engold. And subsequently, they both pull in the 165 class in the tournament where David takes a loss to Adam Nail. David also takes a loss to rising up-and-comer Michael Pastorek. And in the tournament, Randall Bladen also pulls off the upset over Robbie. And according to the published bracket, which is a little grainy here, but David Lee and Randall Bladen had a 5th and 6th pull-off, which it appears that David came out on top. So, in light of this craziness that went down in the 154 righty class, Adam Nail now takes the number 2 spot by placing second to Otha Loving, followed by Michael Pastorek at number 3, in light of taking 4th in the tournament. And those two, Adam and Michael, did not get to pull each other, but we need to see that match happen for sure. David Lee still remains ahead of Robbie Engold by defeating him in the super match, but OPAR must go by what happened most recent, and with that, Adam and Michael were David's 2 losses in the tournament, and those two were on fire that day, getting wins on Otha Loving and Anatol Barsukov, whom are normally 165 pullers. And furthermore, Randall Bladen is now number 5 by defeating Robbie on the B side. The chaos does not stop at the right hand for the lightweights. David Lee also pulls off a super match win over Robbie in a left-handed bout. Michael Pastorek is equally a threat lefty. He fulfills the upset against Randall Bladen, therefore taking second to the lefty phenom Anatol Barsukov. Randall Bladen, however, has risen in the left category by defeating David in the bracket. So as we could see, Michael Pastorek was ahead of the 154 pack in that particular event, which brings him now to number 4, followed by Randall Bladen, David Lee, and Robbie Engold. On the topic of Anatol Barsukov, he is now reactivated in the righty category. He's got some pretty considerable biceps, so once he goes through a couple of more tournaments, his lesser dominant arm will be good competition for anyone here. Although Anatol had not had any big wins that day, we think number 12 is a fair baseline for him in light of experience and perceived strength. Time will surely tell how far up he will go. Speaking of how far up, Anatol's lefty is a monster. He really showed up that day, taking down both Travis Camp and Otha Loving, who has always been a threat either arm, by the way. Anatol would go on to place first in the 165 pro left class. Having practiced with him a lot, he is just getting started. So with that in mind, Anatol deservingly is placed just 1 spot ahead of Otha at number 7. On to the 198, both right and left. We made a slight mix-up and placed Shane Vasquez in the 220 class when he actually should have been 198. He actually did pull 198 in Kentucky Muscle. It's hard to ascertain exactly how he is right-handed, so for now, we decided to place him at number 17 to see how far he will rise, which should be a lot of fun considering when he trains hard, he is capable of beating a few state-level pullers. His lefty, his dominant arm, was a bit easier to place. He historically has defeated me, so we think that number 9 is fair to start him off and to see him possibly break through some of the guys above him. I would be very surprised in 3 months if he does not break into the top 5. So whoever is up there, I would step on the accelerator. The 220 welcomes new challenger by the name of Ben Ferguson, who seemingly did pretty decent in his classes. I know he placed second to Daniel Garwood. We could not recover any footage or images, but we saw his name, see is from Ohio, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. He also went right-handed. He placed 5th in a pretty sizable class. It was a 230 class, I believe. Gary Foley makes a pro appearance and getting quite a tough draw to Mike Innes and Peter Storr. Now, because the class itself was 226 plus, it's very difficult to judge the weight of a puller, but all we could say is he looks way too light to be a super heavy. So for now, until proven otherwise, he will be placed in the 242 category. Quite a rising story building up for this driven puller here to our right. Just shortly after breaking into the left-handed ranks from the last update, Peter Storr makes a real statement win here by defeating well-rounded competitor Travis Pickering. Suffice it to say, Peter has earned himself the number 16 spot in the right super heavy category. Last but not least, the Masters 200 right category. I have to make a bittersweet announcement that my father, the legend, Bill Arnold, after 40 years of competing, he has officially announced his retirement in his right arm. He had extensive surgery with, shaving off torn cartilage and shortening his ulna, which renders him incapable of being able to compete with that arm again. With that said, I am going to be making a special homage video in his career, so I much look forward to doing that. In the meantime, this now renders Robert Barker the top Masters puller in the 200-pound category. He is a fierce competitor, plans to remain at the top spot as I see him training really hard. In fact, just this past Saturday at the Stump Crew event, he defeated Daniel Garwood in a super match and even got a righty win against Craig Emmerich, so he's definitely the real deal there. Thank you all so much for joining me in this chaotic adjustment. I much look forward to seeing how future Ohio events are going to pan out. This is your arm wrestling underdog. Let's continue to beat the odds.